Now, Tim Walz gets destroyed here by JD Vance, and this is just perfect. This is just a perfect clip.
Blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do want to blame Kamala Harris for letting in millions of illegal aliens into this country.
Pass the bill.
God, I'm going to start it over. It was so good. This is my favorite highlight of the show. This is my favorite highlight of the entire debate. The way that JD Vance sat there and used his words, because I love when people do that, and slapped not just Kamala. I mean, this is the punch, you guys, that went through Joe Biden and the entire Democrat Party for Donald Trump. But now we have JD Vance doing the exact same thing. And look at this guy's reaction. This is a guy that just got freaking slapped upside his damn head in just 8 seconds. I'll play it over. Oh, baby.
We don't want to blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do want to blame Kamala Harris for letting in millions of illegal aliens into this country, which does drive up costs, Tim. 25 million illegal aliens competing with Americans for scarce homes is one of the most significant drivers of home prices in the country. It's why we have massive increases in home prices that have happened right alongside massive increases in illegal alien populations under Kamala Harris's leadership. Now, Tim just mentioned a bunch of ideas. Now, some of those ideas I actually think are halfway decent, and some of them I disagree with. But the most important thing here is Kamala Harris is not running as a newcomer to politics. She is the sitting vice president. If she wants to enact all of these policies to make housing more affordable, I invite her to use the office that the American people already gave her, not sit around and campaign and do nothing while Americans find the American dream of homeownership completely unaffordable.
He's still not done. This was, it does, this part, actually, I don't think there's any more perfect than you could do on this. And I rarely say something is perfect, right? This, I mean, he phenomenal, other than maybe the hiccup, right? Or the burp that he had or whatever the hell he did, clearing his throat. Perfect.
Now, you asked, Margaret, what would immediately change the equation for American citizens if you lower energy prices? As Donald Trump says, drill, baby, drill. One of the biggest drivers of housing costs, aside from illegal immigration, is, think about it. If a truck driver's paying 40% more for diesel, then the lumber he's delivering to the job site to build the house is also going to become a lot more expensive. If we open up American energy, you will get immediate pricing relief for American citizens. Not, by the way, just in housing, but in a whole host of other economic goods, too.
100% correct. And this is one of the main differences between these two campaigns. And we highlighted it last night. Democrats want to give handouts. 25,000, 6,000, 9,000. All the assistances to illegal immigrants. JD Vance, Donald Trump, allow the market to flourish. Allow the people to sit there and use capitalism in the free market to buy and sell goods at said whatever price that is set by the market. So phenomenal job there. And he's 100% correct. And by the way, it did come out after that illegal immigrants are inflating the housing market, not just for buying and selling, but also for renting. And it's common sense. I mean, you could read this in Henry Hazlitt's book, Economics 101, or you could read Economics 101 by Thomas Sowell. It's a thick book. It's like that big. It's all basic. You would actually learn this legitimately. I'm not exaggerating. In a high school classroom, how supply and demand works. And things are so insane here. And I've talked about it. Nobody mentions this. This is why you guys come here to the Bald Brad Show, baby, is because there's so many people here illegally. What they're actually doing is when they send that money back home to South America, or whatever country they're coming from, if you look at the localities of which they're coming from, they're actually inflating the economy there as well. And they're inflating the home prices there as well because of all the money they're sending back. It's a phenomenal thing that we looked at. It was just head spinning. So it is happening. And, you know, well, let's bring the receipts. Give me 1 second here. Let's just bring you the receipts. Why not? Because, you know, Democrats, I don't have the receipts. I can't type in my calculator, into my keyboard. There we go. What does that say? Fed president. Oh, migration boosts mortgage rates. Oh, weird. It's amazing. Guys, I can fucking pull that up in like 10 seconds. Isn't that crazy? Not part of the show. Just pull it up in 10 seconds. They can't do it. Democrats cannot sit there and use their keyboard to find out actual information. President Joe Biden's migration crisis raises mortgage rates that burden young couples and families, according to the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. Oh, weird. That looks like that's Tim Walz's area. Huh. But it's not happening. It's all fake. It's all smoke and mirrors, no fire. It's all cheap fakes, deep fakes. It's bullshit, misinformation, disinformation. Will be removed from platforms for calling it out. Astonishing. Astonishing. And we have CBS. I don't want to let you respond to allegation that the vice president is letting in migrants. Tim Walz, that's not true, but it is true. Check this out.
Governor, I do want to let you respond to the allegation that the vice president is letting in.
Well, of course, that's not true. And again, you have the facts. I guess we agreed not to fact check. I'll check it. That, look, crossings are down compared to when Donald Trump.
The allegation that the vice president is letting in.
Well, of course, that's not true. And again, 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 you have the, of course, that's not true. And again, you have the facts. I guess we agreed not to fact. Of course, that's not true. And again, you have the facts. I guess we agreed not to fact.
This is so bonkers and wild. You actually can't make sense of it. This is up there. This quote from when Peter Doocy was questioning Karine Jean-Pierre during a White House press briefing. And Karine Jean-Pierre said, I quote, "They are not walking across the border. It was one of the most idiotic and insane things I've seen and heard since doing this show." This is up there with it, other than, well, the guns, sometimes it's just the guns. This dude just sat there and told you this shit isn't happening. Look, there's not 10. We're being generous, Democrats. He's telling us there wasn't 10+ million people that just poured across the border. All that footage you saw, not real. No, let's play it for Democrats again because they can't, it doesn't work. This.
Well, of course, that's not true. And again, well, of course, that's not true. And again, you have, well, of course, that's not true. And again, you have the facts.
We agreed not to fact check, but you sat there and pleaded with them about fact checking. Sure. They fact checked JD Vance multiple times and JD Vance called him out for it. And so JD Vance says, of course, we're going to cover Americans' pre-existing prescriptions. It's a longer clip. We don't need to rehash that one out, but I wanted to highlight the fact that he's going at it in terms of, hey, we want to go out there and solve this stuff. And the media is pretending as if they don't. And everybody's supposed to be all excited that they brought down the cost of insulin to $35. That is great. Don't get me wrong. That is phenomenal. There's thousands of other drugs out there. There's thousands, but they're going to highlight 10. And they don't even highlight 10. They actually highlight 2, insulin and inhalers. We have this one, JD Vance. Something these guys do is they make a lot of claims about if Donald Trump becomes president, all these terrible consequences will ensue. But in reality, Donald Trump was president. Inflation was low. Things were great. It's astonishing how they have to fabricate everything. JD Vance brings people back into reality.
What these guys do is they make a lot of claims about if Donald Trump becomes president, all of these terrible consequences are going to ensue. But in reality, Donald Trump was president. Inflation was low. Take-home pay was higher. And he saved the very program from a Democratic administration that was collapsing and would have collapsed absent his leadership. He did his job, which is govern.
I've never in a debate, and I really do mean this, I've never seen somebody write as much as Tim Walz is doing. Like, homie can't sit there and retain a thought in his head of what JD... I didn't even see... Did anybody see JD Vance actually use his paper? I don't even think... I remember him picking it up before the debate started because they showed them shaking hands way before they actually shook hands a second time. And he picked it up, he looked at it, he's like, I don't fucking need this, and he puts it down. I don't think he actually wrote anything.
In a bipartisan way and get results, not just complain about problems, but actually solve them. Something that...
Bro looked like he was taking a freaking exam on the right-hand side. Damn. Not a good night for Tim Walz. Not a good night. And this was... So the other clip that I showed about him saying things about Kamala Harris, this is my second favorite clip right here by JD Vance. This is... He really wiped the floor with Tim Walz, man. Like, this homie did not stand a chance. I thought it would happen, right? I didn't say JD Vance would lose this one. Okay, I was saying, I just knew Tim Walz wasn't going to come out and be like, "What's up, guys? Hey, everybody do high fives." He came out a little bit better than I thought, but JD Vance, man.
Honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens. I was raised by a woman who would sometimes go into medical debt so that she could put food on the table in our household. I know what it's like to not be able to afford the things that you need to afford. We can do so much better. To all of you watching, we can get back to an America that's affordable again. We just got to get back to common sense economic principles.
And the way that JD Vance talks, he doesn't do it in like a condescending voice, which is a skill. Like me, even if I say something nice to somebody, it just comes across as me being a smartass. Like no matter how I talk, it just seems like either I'm lecturing somebody or I'm being rude, but I'm not. Like sometimes I'm just being genuine. Like I think somebody does some really nice things. It's a skill, in my opinion, to be able to sit there and whack somebody over their damn head and basically be polite about it to the point where they're like, yeah, you're pretty right. I should probably self-reflect. So maybe some Democrats woke up last night. That's the hope, at least. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. If you are, hit that like button. It really does help us.